just like any kind of bird. You're going to mount up on wings like an eagle. You're not just average. You're not just ordinary. You were not birthed to be basic. You were not created to be common. You were not raised to be regular. You were not formed to fit in. God didn't send you here to be normal. So let me just free you. If everybody like you, something wrong with you. Because you ain't that type of bird that's supposed to be hanging out with everybody anyway. If they unfriend you on Facebook, let them unfriend you. If they don't talk to you when they come to church, let them not talk to you. If they don't help you out when you singing, let them not help you out. Because when you got an eagle anointed, you ain't got no business with flying with lower chickens anyway. Text says wings like eagle. I'm also glad the text didn't say mount up on wings like chickens. Now everybody likes some chicken wings, but let me tell you something. I'm glad the text doesn't say mount up on wings like a chicken, because chickens eat nasty stuff. I mean, they always got their head in the ground, picking in the ground, looking down in the ground. And be careful, look straight ahead, because you messed around and sat by a couple chickens tonight. They dressed up smelling good chickens, and you'll know a chicken because they the messiest ones in the church. Ain't got nothing good to say about nobody. Every time they in a meeting, everything go bad. And soon as the chickens stay out of choir rehearsal one time, choir rehearsal finally go good. You always know the chicken. Just keep looking straight ahead.
Hey, say it. Hey.
Head down, mind down, spirit down. How you doing? Well, just pray for me. Everything ain't looking good around here for me. You know it's hard out here for the man. You know the white man trying to keep me down. Yeah, child, if I were you, I wouldn't be married, but child, if I were you, I wouldn't go back to school, baby. If I were you, I wouldn't be. Shut your negative mouth up. If you ain't got something good to say, my mama said don't say nothing at all. Get rid of the chickens out of this church. Matter of fact, isn't it sad that this church could grow if some people left? Mount up on wings like eagles, not mount up on wings like chickens, not mount up on wings like just birds, but it also didn't say mount up on wings like peacocks. Because I mean, look at peacock's wings. Why wouldn't you want to mount up on wings like a peacock? Look at the colorful, effervescent patterns that God placed on peacocks, and watch those male peacocks strut. When it comes time to mate, can't nobody strut like peacocks. Matter of fact, they extend their wings even further. When it's mating time, they trying to show off their stuff. Don't you know some peacocks, they just full of themselves. When back in the day, they used to walk in church and speak to everybody. They messed around with the college pledge, aka Delta, Sigma, Gamma, Rho, Zeta, Omega, Alpha, and forgot where they came from. Now they walk by, excuse me, I'm trying to get to my seat. You know, they just got too cute. They just full of themselves. Do you know people, I ain't talking about none of your cousins, I'm talking about somebody else's cousin. Do you know people, when you're in conversation with them, somehow the conversation always get back around to them? They just full of themselves, getting high off their own supply. Well, let me free you. Don't you worry about peacocks, because the reason they're strutting like that and arrogant like they are is they're really insecure because they know their wings don't work. Peacocks can strut, but peacocks can't fly. So they're really trying to overcompensate for the insecurity because they know they can't fly like you. So the next time you get around somebody arrogant, you ain't got to try to dismiss them or prove them wrong. Just stretch your wings out and say, nope, bitch can't do it like me. Nope, bitch can't do it like me. You ain't got to do nothing. Just keep on flying. And after a while, God will separate the sheep from the goats.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, tonight I ain't hanging out with no peacocks. I ain't hanging out with chickens tonight. I'm not hanging out with regular birds tonight. I'm glad I'm in a room full of eagles. And when you're an eagle, you ain't supposed to be normal. When you're an eagle, you're supposed to be a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a peculiar people. When you're an eagle, sometimes you got to shout by yourself. Sometimes you got to go on a date by yourself. Sometimes you got to call yourself on the phone and say, what's up, folk? You doing all right? Yeah, I'm doing good, bro. I love you. I love me some of you too. Have you ever had to encourage yourself on this thing called life? Where are the eagles in the room? I'm just trying to identify who I'm preaching to, because eagles are easy to spot out because they always got their wings outstretched.
Yes, sir.
I'm I'm preaching to a room full of eagles. And what I like about God is he just won't hook you up with wings, but he also hooks you up with some things. Yeah. See, y'all forgive me, because that's why doing praise and worship, I'm not like some of y'all. Y'all say, well, you know, I don't praise God like everybody else. Sometimes I just like to sit. Sometimes I cry tears. Well, you can be silent in worship, but it's impossible to be silent in praise, because when you are really praising God, you have to open up your mouth and give God the fruit of your lips, meaning you got to speak well of God. The Bible said, let the redeemed of the Lord what? Say. You got to open your mouth. And here's what will help you open your mouth when you think about all the things that God's been doing in your life. What thing, Sharpe, he woke you up this morning? What thing, Sharpe, he woke you up this morning? What thing, Sharpe, he woke you up this morning? What thing, Sharpe, he woke you up this morning? I'm trying to find another reason, but that one is so good. If that's all the reason I got, that's all the reason I need. Look at your neighbor and say, he's been too good for me to be silent. Tap three people around you, say all the things, all the things, all the things, all the bills he paid, all the ways he's made, all the doors he's opened, all the ways he opened, all the friends he sent, all the enemies he dismissed. Thank him for the things tonight. But they had to wait on the Lord. He'll hook you up with some wings and things. But to appreciate this content, you really got to understand the context, because we're falling in what scholars call second Isaiah. First Isaiah is chapters 1 through 39. That's first Isaiah. Scholars say second or Deutero Isaiah is chapters 40 through 54. And then third Isaiah is chapter 55 through 66. Just like the Bible, there's 66 chapters and chapters in the book of Isaiah. And some biblical scholars suggest that one person could not have written the entire book of Isaiah, because each section, first Isaiah, Deutero Isaiah, and third or Trito Isaiah, are talking about different time periods in the history of the Jewish people. Yet first Isaiah deals with the calling of the prophet Isaiah, preparing him to go preach to a nation that had forgotten God. He was trying to get them ready before Babylonian captivity. But second Isaiah, where we are tonight, those scriptures were written to a people who were already in Babylonian captivity. And then chapters 54 through 66 are prophesying days ahead for what the children of Israel would experience after they come out of Babylonian captivity. I'm just trying to see, this is going to be a shout test right here. The book of Isaiah, chapter 40 that we're in tonight, and all the way through 54, was written to a people. God sent the prophet to tell them this in Babylonian captivity: chill out, because it won't always be like this. Yeah, that was a test. That was a test. Because you really don't appreciate that unless you're in something right now. And there are people who come to church who like to fake it till they make it, but I don't like them type of people. I like the type of people who can be honest and say, I'm in something right now. Well, if you're in something, slip your hand up. God told me to tell you, it ain't going to always be like this. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy. It ain't going to always be like this. And he writes to the people, and he deals with their own existential tension. He deals with their own current day trouble, because he opens up in verse 30 and says, even the youth shall faint and be weary. Even the young men shall utterly fall. If you want to be inclusive, even the young people shall faint and get weary. Even the young people shall utterly fall. Why is that important? That's not about young men, young women. That's not just about teenagers. It's about people in society who are supposed to be the strongest in the culture. And there's some things that can come up in a nation that are so troubling, that are so tedious, that are so tumultuous, that it can make even the strongest amongst you get weary and tired. Oh, isn't that true tonight? Because there are a lot of us in this room who already know you can be saved and still struggle. You can be favored and still be frustrated. You can be blessed and still be burdened. You can be a Christian and still feel like cussing sometimes. You can be in church every other Sunday and still have chaos in your house. And that's why I like coming to St Smyrna, because y'all ain't like most churches that celebrate Halloween all year long. You missed it. You'll get it on the way home. Most churches celebrate Halloween all year long. Paul Lawrence Dunbar said, we wear the mask that grins and lies. It hides our cheeks and shades our eyes. But God tonight is about to take that mask off your face and free you to be honest. Who in this room can admit sometimes stuff makes me weary? When I keep seeing black and brown lives killed at a disproportionate rate to our white counterparts, that makes me weary. When you live in a country that cares more about a gorilla being shot in Cincinnati instead of Philando Castile being shot in Minneapolis or Baton Rouge, that makes you weary. When you live in a country where a man named Donald Trump, who has been the most racist, misogynistic, sexist idiot to ever run for office in the history of history, and you gotta live in a country where people who live next to you support a man like that, that makes me weary. And the fact that he's made it this far, and a black man who went to Harvard Law School has been the president for the last 8 years and has needed more security than any other president in the history of presidents. It makes you want to know why. As brilliant as he is, as kind and compassionate and as thoughtful as he is, why does a black man in the White House need any more security than any other president? That makes me weary. Why is that the case? Well, did he drop the bomb on Nagasaki or Hiroshima? No, President Truman did that. Did his suit get snagged on the Watergate? No, Nixon did that. Did he claim a war on drugs that actually pushed drugs into the black community? No, Reagan did that. What did he turn on some earth, wind, and start the fire with Lewinsky? No, Clinton did that. What did he go to the war over in Iraq and claim weapons of mass destruction and ain't found a mosquito, a gnat, a June bug, or a ladybug over there? No, B.J. Bush Jr. did that. The only thing Obama did was walk his black skin into the White House and say, here I is. In the words of Louis Armstrong, his only sin is his skin. And when your only sin is your skin, that can make you weary.
Yes, sir.
And then you come to church and think folk in the church will be loving and be compassionate, and some of the nastiest folks you'll ever meet in your life are some of the most church-going folk you'll meet in your life. It can make you weary.
Yeah.
Some of the most judgmental people you'll ever meet are not at your job. They come to church every Sunday. It can make you weary and fatigued. But I'm glad that it didn't stop there. Because if verse 30 is all I had to preach, Danielle, I wouldn't have much of a sermon tonight. But God moves from verse 30 down to verse 31. And the first word shouts me, excuse me, is personal. But. Yeah, preacher, why are you shouting? Because whenever you see a but, that means God is about to sacredly shift the sentence. Whenever you see a but, that means what comes before it gets deleted and what comes after it gets exalted. Yeah, weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but it don't even matter that I was lost, because now I'm found. I was blind, but now I see. There are at least 30 of y'all, not more. There are at least 30 in here who can take a few minutes and thank God for writing a but in your life. You should have died in that car accident, but God kept you. You should have failed that class, but God brought you. That divorce could have taken you out, but God secured you. Somebody take 10 seconds and say, God, thank you for shifting my sentence. That praise ain't for everybody, but it's for at least 30 of us who can say, God, if you hadn't have written the but, I would have been gone years ago. But God, but